Hey guys, just thought I'd share with you some of the things I'm prepping and rigging for my trip down the Mississippi River. Getting ready to do about 400 miles here over Labor Day on that guy, a 2006 SeaDoo. I've had it the entire time. It's been a real good machine for me. Taking it to Lake Powell, and I've done the entire Missouri River, getting ready to now do the Mississippi. It's just going to be me solo on this trip, so got to take all my camping gear, maybe some extra gas and stuff, so I thought I'd just kind of run through it all. First of all, starting in the back, everything you'll notice is just tied down via bungees everywhere, and then some straps here for the gas cans. But bungees are good because they're water resistant. They can get wet, not a big deal, and if you lose one, you can always kind of MacGyver something pretty quick with another bungee cord. Just starting over here, this is a cooler, kind of a cheapy cooler, but it's got a plastic tub in it, so and that's meant to be kind of like a saddle bag. So basically some snacks, towels in there, some wireless headphones that I can use, Bluetooth headphones. I've got an inverter that I can use to charge some other equipment kind of stored in here, and some other snacks up top. Water bottle so that it's real handy. I also have a couple of real quick, easy ways to tie up at a dock. Basically, these carabiners are so quick and handy. I can just real quick, when I'm coming up to a dock, I can put that on there and then tuck it away real quick. You never really want long ropes on a jet ski drifting around where they can get up into the impeller and get sucked in. So having a short rope is good. And then also another one I have, this is a little bit longer, but it's essentially a dog leash. And all I do is, again, the carabiner trick to the handle there, and then I can get about a 15-foot leash, if you will, on the jet ski. And that's handy coming up to like a sandbar or to shoreline where I want to just be able to jump out real quick and make sure I've got it holding on via a quick rope, and then secure it better once I'm on shore. So everything's really kind of tied into this central ski mount, and then kind of use a carabiner to be able to get more room for all the bungees and everything that attaches in there. This guy is basically just a real quick clip, so I can real quickly pop this off if I need, and then there's also an umbrella here that I can pop off. And the umbrella is just if I'm sitting at a lock. The Mississippi River has I'll be going through 15 different locks and dams, and so if I'm stuck under a scorching sun waiting in line for the lock, then I can get some shade real quick and not totally burn myself, right? This is basically a seat that you can adjust, and for long cruises, if it's nice and smooth, then I can grab that, pull it out, and I'll have a little bit of back support between this, or even this can act as back support as well if things are really smooth. So again, that's kind of just real quick and handy to have that. The gas cans, even though there's plenty of marinas on the upper Mississippi, I've decided to go ahead and just take 10 extra gallons with me. It gives me a little bit of flexibility and where I fill up or how often I have to fill up at a marina. And these are on real tight. They're not going anywhere. Especially you get them full, they're locked in there, real nice and tight with those straps. And then these bungees kind of further really plant them in there. It's not going anywhere. So this, inside the dry bag. This dry bag has two full-size pillows. Like one of them is almost body pillow size. And then I've got a couple of sheets in there, some towels. So kind of basically bedding at camp. And then inside of this one is quick and easy access to basically it's rain gear and also some fleeces and pants, etc. So I could put it in the hall, but then if it warms up and I want to kind of shed a layer, I really don't want to have to open up the hull while on the river. I want to try to avoid that because with water lapping over the side, it wouldn't take much for water to get up actually into the hull when on the river. So I want to try to avoid having to open that puppy up. So that's why I have a nice quick access to the saddlebag over there and extra layers of clothes here. Really makes a lot of sense. This is basically a bag of ropes, an anchor bag itself. I've got a claw anchor in here, and then what's called it's an anchor buddy is what it's called, but it's a bungee rope. It extends from 15 feet to maybe 40 feet or so. And that's awesome when you get to camp, especially like on a sand beach. You throw the anchor up top, get it into the sand or into the mud, and then you can use that bungee to really keep the line real nice and taut so that there's always tension pulling the ski. And what that will do is, for anybody that's had a jet ski on shoreline and the back end just likes to come around onto the shore as much as you get the nose up on the beach, unless you really beach it. So that's real good to have that anchor buddy and that bungee line in there. And again, that's meant to be, I get up to shoreline, I'm able to get into this real quick and easy without having to kind of fumble through what's inside the hull. So glasses and everything's got to float or be attached, right? That's kind of the mantra. So I'll have a hat, of course, life jacket all the time. Phone. Phone is a game changer, being on a trip like this, be able to communicate, call for help if you need. And then all the apps that you can use, such as Google Maps or Maprika or Glimpse. I'm going to have my brother Doug, he's going to be, along with his wife Peg, they're going to be kind of playing chase vehicle. They're going to be taking the river road and kind of having a slow day of things during the 3-day trip. All the while staying within maybe 50 miles of me. And we'll be able to see where each other is at by GPS on the phone there. That's pretty cool. This is just Velcroed on, and it's on there. Velcro really holds it in, so I'm not too worried about it going anywhere. And then what I did is down deep in here is I added this 12-volt power outlet, tapped it into the battery, and so that gives me a ton of flexibility being able to plug in all my different electronics to be able to charge them. And so that's good. I also have that inverter, and then I also have even a voltmeter so that I can kind of watch. All right, am I overdoing it on the battery if I'm on shore and I am charging too many electronics? I want to make sure I have enough power to be able to start the jet ski in the morning, right? So this guy here, this is an interesting piece. That's something that I've worked on this past week to really try to improve this. Number one, it's a backrest and a support for this bag being on there. And so that's good. Number two, it is a flagpole, right? It's great having the flagpole up there. Or the flag up there so that people can see you. When you're down low on the water, you don't always get noticed right away by other boats. And so having something real tall that catches their eyes, I'm all for that. Number three, it's a GoPro mount. So, pardon my phone. Basically, what I've got there is a way to mount the GoPro, which I'm holding in my hand. And I've actually ran a power line so I can charge the battery all the time, as well as a microphone line. And so those wires are strung down through, and of course I'll be able to charge it up here at the 12-volt power, and then my microphone is right there. So I do plan to record the entire trip. It'll be a lot of boring footage, I'm sure, but that'll allow me to edit some video and maybe have some good cuts. That was kind of a late addition, deciding to go ahead and just record the whole trip. This guy is a Bluetooth wireless speaker plus a charging station. So It has pretty good sound, pretty loud, and that's nice to be able to jam out while you're going down the river. And then also, to be able to have phone calls. If I do get a phone call or want to talk to somebody, I don't have to have the phone up to my ear. I can just do, the Bluetooth speakerphone. And that I tried that out. That works real well. All right, moving to the haul. So inside the haul is basically all the camping supplies. And so number one is my everything bag, if you will. Tools, food is in here. I've got Gorilla Tape, got to have that, right? I've got one of the things that's in here is basically it's an emergency toilet, a WAG bag is what it's called. I plan to go hopefully at the marinas, but if I get caught off guard or something at camp on a sandbar, then at least I've got an emergency way. Other things in here is a medical kit or first aid kit is in there. I also have, of course, toiletries, pot, pan, fuel, cook stove. This is the stove, and it basically just goes on top of the fuel canister. These things slide around, and you're able to set a pot right on top of that. So awesome little small cook stove for that. And then I also have a way to blow up an air mattress. So, and some fire starter kits. Usually I take my time and do, paper and twigs and all that jazz. But if I pull them into camp late and it's cold and I want to start a quick fire, well then now I've got a way to do it. I also have a hammock. And so this is pretty cool. It's got straps right inside there, go right around a tree, cinch it up, get it the way you want it. I might end up sleeping in that hammock. Just it kind of depends on what the weather is like, what the humidity is like. But if I kind of get to camp late, I hope I don't, but if that happens, then I can just throw up the hammock real quick and be able to sleep in that if I want to. If not, and I'm doing a tent, then I have two, not one but two, of these air beds. Basically, they're meant for backpacking, and they have a way where you can kind of hand pump them up. Or, like I said, I also have the air blower to get them pumped up real quick. Those are nice. They're about 2 inches thick, each one. And so I'll be able to get comfortable with that. Just a small, lightweight sleeping bag. Doesn't need to be much, especially because I've got a couple of layers of fleece with me. This is how I'm going to haul my water, cooking water, washing hands water, and then various other liquids taken with me, Gatorade, that type of stuff. This guy is change of clothes, so dry bag for my clothes in there. Also, I have this guy, and this is what is called a gas tapper, and I've used this now a couple of times on different trips, and it is basically a gas pump. It operates off of 12 volts, and it's got 2 hoses, so this kind of sits in the middle here, and I'm able to take one of the hoses and run it into a gas can here, and then take the other end of the hose and take it all the way up to where the jet ski's gas tank is, and then throw the switch. And it takes about 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes to drain one of the 5-gallon tanks. So it's not fast, but I usually use that time to take a break, make a sandwich, stretch the legs, just get off the ski. So it doesn't bother me that it takes that long, because it's just a good reason to have a nice break. And that allows me to keep these mounted on. I don't have to take these off. All the straps stay on, and I feel real confident that they're locked in, and that I'm not taking them on, putting them off all the time. So love that thing. A rake. It's kind of hard to see what it is, but I've got the tongs covered up there, or tines. Basically at camp, if the dirt is got a lot of twigs, or if the sand is real rough, just a way to smooth out where the tent's gonna go. Yeah, that's probably overkill, huh? Speaking of overkill, how about some rebar? Basically, these are, 2-foot stakes instead of 12-inch stakes. I've got some 12-inch stakes with me too, but in sand, that's just not going to do it. So whereas these can go down, 18 inches or so into the sand, and now you've got a pretty decent stake that you can tie something to. I have a chair, a camp chair, so I can sit while at camp. Yeehaw. And then tarp and tent. It's a 3-person tent with stakes and a rain fly. And then this is my food container. And when I'm ready to head out, I'm going to throw in some bread or actually some bagels in here. So I got Pop-Tarts and some cereal and stuff. Basically, this is a way to protect it so it doesn't get smushed, right? I can get my bread in here and other stuff and throw it in the hall, and it's not going to get squished by everything else. So, all right, well, that's about it. Oh, the other thing I didn't go over about this cool little stick here is that in a jam, and I hope this doesn't happen where the ski has a mechanical problem of some sort, but this will be my paddle. And I'll just quickly disconnect the wires and the flag as well. And then I will have essentially an oar or a paddle in order to at least try to guide my way in the current over to the bank, or be able to navigate just a little bit. I know I'm not going to be able to treat it like a canoe, but at least it's something's better than nothing, right? So that's kind of the 4-in-1 on this guy. All right, so that's it. Getting ready to head out on over Labor Day weekend here in a couple of days, and I should have some great video of the Mississippi River. All right.